Hello students, in this video we are going to start unit number 5 of paper Measure and Integration Theory. So the first article of this unit is LP space and convex function. So let's see the definition of LP space. So LP space is the class of all measurable function f of x over AB. The class of all measurable function f of x is known as LP space over AB if this function f is a Lebesgue integrable over this closed interval AB for each p such that 0 less than p less than infinity, and this integration from a to b mod f to the power p du is less than infinity. That is, this integration of mod f to the power p is finite, and this LP space is denoted by L to the power p, that is LP over AB. So simply LP space over AB is the collection, or we can say class of all measurable functions such that the all measurable function is a Lebesgue integrable. Now next definition is LP norm. Now if f belongs to the LP space, then LP norm of this function f is denoted by norm of f over p and is given by integration. This is mod f to the power p du to the power 1 by p, where p is greater than 0 and less than infinity. Now let's see the theorem. Before that, here we have note, that is, if f and g are measurable and f is equals to g, then norm of f, LP norm of f is equals to the LP norm of g. Second one is, if norm of f is equals to 0, then f is equals to, if and only f is equals to 0 and f belongs to the LP space over u. Third note is, norm of a multiplied by f is equals to a into norm of f, where a is any constant. Now next is the theorem. The statement says that if f belongs to the LP space over interval AB and the function g is less than or equals to f, then we have to prove that g also belongs to the LP space of LP space over AB. So let's start with the proof. Here let alpha be any positive real number. Therefore, we have the set of x such that this g of x is greater than alpha, which is equals to collection set of collection of x which belongs to the interval AB such that alpha is less than or equals to g of x, and this function g of x is less than or equals to f of x. So therefore this is equals to the set of collection x where x belongs to the interval AB such that f of x is greater than alpha. Now as f belongs to the LP space over this interval AB, this implies that if f belongs to this LP space AB, therefore by definition f is measurable over AB. So this implies that f is measurable over the interval AB. So therefore this implies that this set of x such that x belongs to x belongs to the interval AB such that f of x is less than or equals to alpha is measurable set. So therefore this implies that x, the set where x belongs to the interval AB such that g of x less than or equals to alpha is measurable. So therefore this implies that g is measurable function over AB. Over the interval AB. Now again, since g of x is less than or equals to the function f of x, so since g of x is less than or equals to f of x for x belongs to AB, so therefore by definition integration a to b mod of g to the power p dx is less than or equals to integration a to b mod of f to the power p dx less than infinity, since f belongs to the LP space over AB. So this implies that integration a to b mod of g to the power p dx is less than infinity. So this implies that mod g to the power p belongs to the LP space over AB. Now we have proved that this g is a measurable function over this interval AB, and also we have proved that this mod of g to the power p belongs to this LP space. So therefore, by definition, the function g belongs to the LP space over AB, and hence the theorem is proved. Now the next theorem is, the statement say that if two function f and g belongs to the LP space over U and a and b are constant, then a into f plus b into g, this whole function belongs to the LP space over U. So let's start with the proof. Now as given, let f and g, this function, let f G belongs to the LP space over U and A and B be constant. A, B be constant. So by definition, this implies that F, G are measurable. Since LP space is a class of measurable function, so by definition, this implies that F and G are measurable function, and also by definition integration of mod f over p du is less than infinity, and integration of mod g to the power p du is less than infinity. So f plus g to the power p is less than or equals to 2 to the power p maximum of f mod of f power p or mod of g to the power p. So therefore f plus g to the power p is less than or equal to splitting this mod, so we get mod of f plus mod of g whole to the power p. So this is less than or equals to 2 times of mod f to the power p. Now since this f plus g to the power p is less than or equals to 2 to the power p maximum of mod f to the power p comma mod g to the power p. So if f is equals to g, then simply f plus g is equals to 2 into f. And if this function g is less than or equals to f, so this also implies that f plus g is less than or equals to 2 times f. So therefore here we get f plus g to the power mod p is less than or equals to 2 into mod f to the power p. So which is again less than or equals to 2 to the power p and mod f to the power p. Now integrating on both sides, we get integration mod f plus g to the power p less du less than or equals to 2 to the power p, which is constant, so taking it outside the integration sign, and integration of mod f to the power p du, which is less than infinity, since f belongs to the LP space of u. So now integration of mod f plus g to the power p du is less than infinity, and therefore this implies that this f plus g belongs to the LP space over u. So let this be number 1. Now let a be any constant. So therefore we know that mod of a multiplied by f to the power p can be written as mod of a to the power p and mod of f to the power p. So therefore integrating on both sides, integration of mod af to the power p du is equals to this mod of a to the power p constant, so taking it outside the integration, and integration of mod of f to the power p du, and this integration of mod of f to the power p du is less than infinity, since f belongs to the LP space over u. So therefore integration of mod af to the power p du is also less than infinity. So therefore this implies that a into f belongs to LP space over u. Similarly, we can prove that b into g, where b is constant and g is a function which belongs to the LP space over u, also belongs to the LP space. So therefore, by first condition and this second one, we can show that AF plus BG belongs to the LP space over U, and hence the theorem is proved. So now next is the definition of a convex function or strictly convex function. So any function psi is defined on an open interval AB is said to be convex if for any non-negative number lambda at mu such that lambda plus mu is equals to 1, and for any xy such that a less than x less than y less than b, that is x y both belongs to the open interval AB, we have psi of lambda x plus mu y less than or equals to lambda psi of x plus mu psi of y. Then we say that the function psi is convex. Now if this condition is here we have strictly less than sign, that is psi of lambda x plus mu of y strictly less than lambda of psi of x plus mu of psi of y, then for all positive number lambda mu such that lambda mu is equals to 1, we say that this function psi is a strictly convex function, and we denote this ratio, that is psi of AB is equals to psi of B minus psi of A upon B minus A. Now next is the theorem based on this article convex and strictly convex function. So here psi is given a convex function of an open interval AB, and for A less than S, less than T, less than U and less than B, we have to prove that psi of ST is less than or equals to psi of SU less than or equals to TU. So let's start with the proof. Now consider T is equals to T minus S upon U minus S dot U plus U minus T upon U minus S dot S. Now if we solve this, we get here TU minus SU plus SU minus ST, and since the denominators are same, this is U minus S. Now minus SU plus SU get cancelled. So here TU minus ST upon U minus S. Now taking T common, so T in bracket U minus S upon U minus S, and this get cancelled, so only we get finally T. So hence this T can be written as T is equals to T minus S upon U minus S multiplied by U plus U minus T upon U minus S multiplied by S. So now applying this function psi, so therefore psi of T is equals to psi of T minus S upon U minus S into U plus U minus T upon U minus S multiplied by S. So psi of T is less than or equals to T minus S upon U minus S psi of U, since psi is a convex function, plus U minus T upon U minus S into psi of S. So the reason is since psi is convex. So now multiplying by U minus S on both sides, we get psi of T into U minus S is less than or equals to T minus S into psi of U plus U minus T into psi of S. Now subtracting U minus S, psi of S on both sides. So subtracting U minus S multiplied by psi of S on both sides. So therefore we get U minus S into psi of T minus U minus S into psi of S less than or equals to T minus S psi of U plus U minus T psi of S minus U minus S into psi of S. So taking U minus S common from left hand side, so we get U minus S in bracket psi of T minus psi of S. So which is again less than or equals to on the right hand side, taking psi of s common. So here we get t of s into psi of u, and taking psi of s common from these two terms. So psi of s in bracket we have u minus t plus u minus s. So this is minus u plus s. Since here it is minus, the sign will change, minus u plus. So here u minus u get cancelled. So again, which is less than or equals to t minus s psi of u plus here s minus t psi of s. So therefore this is less than or equals to, now taking minus sign common from this second term, we get here t minus s psi of u minus of t minus s psi of s. Now taking t minus s common, we get t minus s in bracket psi of u minus psi of s. So therefore, and on the left hand side we have u minus s in bracket psi of t minus psi of s. So therefore this implies that psi of t minus psi of s upon t minus s is less than or equals to psi of u minus psi of s upon u minus s. So therefore by definition we have psi of st less than or equals to psi of su. And similarly we can prove that this psi of su to be less than or equals to psi of tu. So let this be number 1 and this be number 2. So therefore from 1 and 2 we have psi of st less than or equals to psi of su less than or equals to psi of tu, and hence the theorem is proved. Now the next theorem of this article is, this theorem consists of two parts. So first part and this is second. So first part says that a differentiable function psi is convex on the interval open interval ab if and only if psi dash is monotonic increasing function. Second is if psi double dash exists on the interval ab, then psi is convex if and only if psi of double dash is greater than or equals to 0 on the interval ab, and this psi is strictly convex if psi of double dash is strictly greater than 0 on interval ab. So let's start with the part 1 of this theorem. So part 1. So as given, let psi be differentiable function and psi is convex on the open interval ab. So psi be differentiable function and psi is convex on open interval ab. Now we have to prove that psi is monotonically increasing function on the interval ab, that is psi is monotonic increasing. So that is we have to prove that for s less than u, we have psi dash of is less than or equals to psi dash of u. So let a less than s less than t less than u less than v and less than b, that is stub belongs to the open interval ab. So therefore psi of st is less than or equals to psi of su plus psi of tu. So which is again less than or equals to psi of tv less than or equals to psi of uv. So therefore ultimately this psi of st is less than or equals to psi of uv. So therefore according to their notation, psi of t minus psi of s upon t minus s is less than or equals to psi of v minus psi of u upon v minus u. So let t tends to s and v tends to u. So therefore we get limit t tends to s psi of t minus psi of s upon t minus s less than or equals to limit v tends to u psi of v minus psi of u upon v minus u. So by definition of differentiability, this we have psi dash of s less than or equals to psi dash of u for s less than u. So therefore this implies that psi is monotonic increasing function on the interval AB. So psi is monotonic increasing on AB. Now converse of this part 1. So conversely, let psi be monotonic increasing on AB on this open interval AB and A less than X less than U less than Y and less than B. That is this X, U, Y all belongs to the open interval AB. So now applying mean value theorem. So apply mean value theorem for differentiation. There exists RS with X less than R less than U less than S and less than Y such that psi dash of R is equals to psi of U minus psi of X, which is upon U minus X, and also applying this mean value theorem to psi dash of S. So we get psi of Y minus psi of U upon y minus u. So since the psi is monotonic increasing given, so therefore the psi of r, psi dash of r, psi of r is less than or equals to psi of s. So therefore we have psi of u minus psi of x upon u minus x less than or equals to psi of y minus psi of u upon y minus u whenever x less than u less than y. So now in particular, let u is equals to 1 minus t x plus ty for 0 less than t less than 1. So therefore we have here psi of u minus psi of x upon t into y minus x, which is less than or equals to psi of y minus psi of u upon 1 minus t into y minus x. So therefore this implies that psi of 1 minus t x plus t y is less than or equals to 1 minus t psi of x plus t into psi of y. If we solve this, we get this condition, and therefore by definition of convex function, this implies that psi is convex on open interval AB. So therefore psi is convex function on open interval AB, and hence the first part of this theorem is proved. Now for the second part of this theorem, it is given that if psi double dash exists, that is psi double dash exists on the open interval AB, then we have to prove that psi is convex if and only if psi double dash is greater than 0, and the psi is strictly convex function if psi double dash is strictly greater than 0 on the interval AB. So let's start with the proof of the second part. So here it is given that psi is convex and let a less than u less than b less than x less than y and less than b. So therefore psi of v minus psi of u upon v minus u is less than or equals to psi of y minus psi of x upon y minus x. So let this be number 1. Now let the limit v tends to u and the limit x tends to y. So this implies that LHS of 1 decreases. LHS of 1 decreases to psi dash of u and RHS increases to psi dash of y. So therefore this implies for y greater than u implies that psi dash of y is greater than or equals to psi dash of u. So therefore, this implies that the psi double dash is greater than or equals to 0 on the interval AB if it exists. Now the sufficient part of the second part of this theorem. So it is given that psi of double dash is greater than or equals to 0, and we have to prove that this psi is a convex function. So now we assume that psi is not convex. So suppose psi is not convex, then there exist u, t and v such that a is less than u, less than t, less than v and less than b, and that this t lies above u and v. So therefore this implies that slope of ut is equals to psi dash of alpha for some alpha belongs to u comma t, and also that the slope of tv is equals to psi dash of beta for some beta belongs to the interval tv. Now this implies that this psi dash of alpha is less than this psi dash of beta, where alpha is less than beta. So this implies that the psi dash is strictly decreasing. That is, psi dash is strictly decreasing. So therefore this implies that psi of double dash will be strictly less than 0. But it is given that psi of double dash is greater than or equals to 0. Therefore we have get here contradiction. So this is contradiction, which is contradiction as psi of double dash is greater than or equals to 0. And as we have got here contradiction, it means that our assumption that psi is not a convex function is wrong. Therefore, our assumption is wrong. And hence, psi is a convex function. And on the same note, we can prove that psi is a strictly convex function if psi double dash is strictly greater than 0. So hence here both parts of this theorem have been proved. So hence proved. Now the next theorem is, here we have to prove that every function on an here it is every convex function on an open interval is continuous. So let's start with the proof. Now as given, let psi be a convex function on an open interval AB. Now let x0 belongs to this open interval AB. Now we show that the psi is continuous at x0. We show that psi is continuous at x0. So we choose S, T and U such that A is less than S, less than x0, less than T, less than U and less than D. Now let G is equals to f1 of x, the equation of line, through S and x0, and y is equals to f2 of x is the equation of line through x0 and u. So therefore by theorem, psi of t is greater than or equals to f1 of t, and psi of t is less than or equals to f2 of t. So this implies that f1 of t is less than or equals to psi of t less than or equals to f2 of t. So now let t tends to x0. So therefore we get psi of x0 t. This psi exists, and also that psi of x0 is equals to f1 of x0 plus, which is equals to f2 of x0 minus, which is equals to psi of x0 plus. And with the similar argument, we get psi of x0 is equals to psi of x0 minus. So therefore, psi of x0 minus is equals to psi of x0, which is again equals to psi of x0 plus. So as psi of x0 minus is equals to psi of x0 plus, so therefore we have hence psi is continuous at x0. This function psi is continuous at x0, and hence the theorem is proved. Now next are some examples. So in this first example, we have to prove that e to the power x is a strictly convex function on R. So solution, let the given f of x function, which is equals to e to the power x, and x belongs to R. So now f dash of x is e to the power x. F double dash of x is again e to the power x, and this exists. That is the double derivative of this function exists for x belongs to R, and also that f double dash of x is strictly greater than 0 for x belongs to R. So therefore, by theorem, since the double derivative of this function is strictly greater than 0 and the double derivative exists for x belongs to R, so therefore we have f of x is equals to e to the power x is a strictly convex function on R. So hence this first example have been proved. Now the next example is, here we have to prove that x to the power alpha is a convex function on the open interval 0 to infinity for alpha greater than or equals to 1. So solution, let the function be g of x, which is equals to x to the power alpha on open interval 0 to infinity and alpha be greater than or equals to 1. Now the first derivative of this function is g dash of x is equals to alpha into x to the power alpha minus 1. Now the double derivative, second derivative of this function g of x is alpha minus 1 x to the power alpha minus 2. Now this exists for x belongs to the open interval 0 to infinity, and also this g double dash of x, that is the double derivative of this function, is greater than or equals to 0 for alpha greater than or equals to 1. So since the double derivative, that is the second derivative of this given function, exists and it is greater than or equals to 0, so therefore by theorem, x to the power alpha is a convex function. Is a convex function on open interval 0 to infinity, and hence the second example have also been proved. So now in this video we have studied LP space, the norm, LP norm, and convex function and strictly convex function. Now in the next video we will start with inequalities, so which have Jensen inequality, Holder inequality, and Minkowski inequality. Okay, thank you.